Hello and welcome back to another video here with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. Continuing where we left off, let's look at the rewards from the Final Fantasy XV crossover in-game event. Upon completion of the main questline for this event, you will gain access to a new vendor over inside the Gold Saucer, the Ironworks vendor. One such item from this is the Regalia Type G title, which will cost you 200,000 MGP. This then is what said mount looks like as we preview its various features. It is additionally worth mentioning that the theme that this plays is the pit stop theme from Final Fantasy XV, as you can hear in the background here, and yeah, it's pretty nice to have a unique set of music. I was fearing that they would put something else here, but yeah, we've got something that actually fits the car, so hopefully you enjoy this theme because you're going to be hearing it a lot. For a 200,000 MGP mount, it certainly has a lot going for it. In terms of sheer size, this chunky mount is no doubt going to enter the realms of the largest mounts in the game, albeit dwarfed by the whale of course, and a few others, but we don't mention the whale and its lack of multiple seating options for obvious reasons. The Regalia then is everything you might remember from Final Fantasy XV, and probably much more if you've never played that game. The text reads, "Summon forth your Regalia Type G, cerulean-powered Magitech transportation vehicle crafted by Garland Ironworks." To hear Sid tell it, equal parts elbow grease and gumption were all that was required to see the Type G, the G being for Garland fully operational, when in truth the otherworldly carriage most likely required an amazing amount of reverse engineering to recreate. The hidden text reads, "Do they truly believe it makes them more imposing, or are they merely compensating for something?" A quote there of Lalai. This mount's biggest feature though, other than looking the part, is that it's actually functional as the first ever 4-player mount in the game. The first 4-player mount then, that is free, I might add. Whether you have 3 good friends with you that want to hang out and do leveling with, or perhaps you find the idea of ferrying 3 others with you around Eureka appealing, the sort of content that this will make easier to navigate is extremely welcome. If you're in a party with your friends, walk up to a Regalia that someone has summoned and right-click the player. You can choose Ride Pillion, but now you get 3 choices. These are choices of seat, reflecting the seating position in the car itself. One being to ride shotgun, for example, 2 and 3 being on the back seats. The various poses you display depend on where you sit, and indeed whether you are the driver. Certain races have unique poses, and even genders are different between those races. For example, we can show a male Rogadin will barely fit into the passenger seat here with his arm hanging out the side of the car, yet the female Ro will sit tight with her arms inside. A Lalafell driver will sit on the seat to drive. I'm not really sure how he reaches the pedals, but there we go, magic I guess. And the various other positions the Lalafell can sit mimic the difficulties of a people with a vertical handicap, which is frankly awesome that he thought about this. I love how many different poses there are here for the various different races and genders, and how it changes based on who and what sits there. Purely this has to be the most thought put into a mount to date in the game, and I hope this isn't just a one-off for the crossover. I'd love, for example, to see more Lalafell exclusive poses for future mounts. It just makes the whole thing way more entertaining to look at, and much more believable. The mount is obviously omni-terrestrial. Flying through the sky features the incredible transformation animations you may be used to from 15, with all of the sounds of cogs and gears whirring and technology making this entirely possible. The underwater animations are basically the flight animation loops, but aside from that, both flying and driving on the ground feature very distinctive sound design and visual features. It's very easy to lose sight of what game you're actually playing once you start driving around with your friends. It shares the same motion as any other mount in the game, but looks really good doing what it does, especially if you drive through some of the early places in the game such as Fanaland that were designed for terrestrial movement. I'd say other than the occasional terrain problem, which happens to pretty much every mount in the game anyway, the Regalia isn't exactly a bad fit. I've heard a lot of community voices speak about realism and the break of their immersion, but whilst I agree that somewhat it may seem odd to see cars cars everywhere. This is a fantasy game with all manner of crossovers and other games content such as Rathalos from Monster Hunter, Brickman and Slimeheads from Dragon Quest, you name it, the list goes on. It's an incredible source of fun this time around, and I can think of no better way to remember Final Fantasy XV and at the same time introduce the first of hopefully multiple future 4-player mounts to the game. No, not you, Whale. You were going to be the first, but you decided to be cash shop only, so they probably made you 2-man to avoid controversy. Go away. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. Let me know how busy your highway is between Uldar and Blackbrush. It took me at least 20 minutes to get here this morning. It was terrible. We even had some disconnections, and I'll see you all next time as we slowly destroy this world with pollutants as well.
I thought you said this would be a lot quicker by car.
Well, how am I supposed to know what the roads are like this time of evening? Jeez. How about we have a drag race?
Sure, why not? Let me count down then. 3, 2, 1, go!
Go! Go, 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 go.
You're cheating. You do realise you got the maps, right?
Always come prepared to a race.